Today, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane can breathe a sigh of relief as one of the 3 perjury charges against her has been withdrawn. The matter has been postponed to the 29th of September for Mkhwebane then to make submissions. She faces charges of perjury stemming from her ABSA Bankorp reports. I'm now joined by Newzroom Afrika reporter Pelane Phakgadi, who has been following this story closely. Pelane, certainly a moment we did not expect to see, but certainly when you have been following this case, the Public Protector has been saying that these charges should actually be withdrawn, and we see as of today she faces lesser charges.
Definitely lesser of the counts, 1 perjury charge, and it is 1 count less. That you remember that she was facing 3 counts, and now that particular count where she's alleged to have, falsified information about meeting former President Jacob Zuma in the Bankorp investigation, now has been withdrawn, and seemingly because there's no prospect of getting a successful, prosecution in that matter. Now there are 2 counts now that remain. And in that detail, we're now having to look at exactly what is it that now the Director for Public Prosecution had to say in coming to terms to say that the trial must go on. And indeed, they say they have a strong case against Mkhwebane, and Mkhwebane herself says that the state really is not ready for trial because there seem to be ongoing investigations while the proceedings are going ahead. And so what she's demanding is that the 2 counts that remain be struck off the roll, at least until that time when the state is ready to come through and present their case. It might be after 2023 when she has already finished her 7-year term as the Public Protector.
Certainly, it might even be that time. But also I do understand then that she will then be making representations to the National Director of Public Prosecutions.
Definitely. Remember, at this point, she had made submissions to the Director of Public Prosecution in the province so that they can recommend dropping all 3 charges. The DPP only came through to say, well, out of the 3 that are before me, only 1 can fall away, but the 2 have to go to trial. So she's taking the whole process now into review. Of course, now it means that the review process will be going on the 2 counts that remain. And in that regard, she's writing to the National Director for Public Prosecutions, Shamila Batohi, to try and come to a different fact-finding so that she is now free of all perjury charges against her. She's asking that the NDPP really looks into declining to prosecute and have all those cases, those 2 charges in themselves, just struck off the roll so that she can continue breathing this sigh of relief. And this is amid all the other court cases that she has lost. We've seen as well in Parliament those proceedings underway on how to remove a Chapter 9, a head of a Chapter 9 institution. So that in itself, I think today's fall of 1 charge has really given that side that you talk about.
And when you then look at the fact that obviously this 1 charge has now been dropped, but it's certainly when you look at what she has said through her spokesperson, Phakgadi, is that she is seemingly still unhappy about the fact that it was only 1 charge. And as we talk about those representations then that are to be made to the National Director of Public Prosecutions, do we have a timeline as to when these submissions will then be made?
On the first one, they were submitted in less than 2 weeks and gave the DPP about 2 months to take a look at them. And now it will be almost 3 months. And Opa was just telling us outside court, even the Public Protector as well, while she was walking to her car, that she believes that this matter should be handled in an expeditious manner. And they must come through to submit those submissions in less than a month, basically, so that they can give the NDPP ample time to consider all the facts that she would have forwarded, all the recommendations, and why she feels that the charges must be dropped and she can continue without having a perjury case against her.
Certainly will be interesting, Pelane, as we look to the 29th of September then to see if she will get her way, or are we going to see yet another, postponement in this particular matter, as we look to see whether or not the 2 other perjury charges that the Public Protector now faces will then be struck off. That's our reporter, Pelane Phakgadi, who was watching these developments in court for us.